appointment. Started. Good evening, members and members of the public. Our apologies for a late start and a slight technical problem, but this is a meeting of the Finance and Governance Committee at Newton Leeds Pavilion on the 27th of February 2024. The fire escapes are at the end of the building and at the front, and the toilets are off the lobby. Right, thank you. No apologies for absence.
Yes, Chair, we've had apologies from council.
Thank you. Item 2, to note councillors' declarations of interest. Are there any? No. Item 3, to approve the draft minutes of the previous meeting of the committee. 2 pages. Page 1 and page 2. Are they agreed? Agreed? Agreed. Thank you. I'll sign those at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Public speaking time, have there any requests?
No, we've had no representations.
Right. So item 5. To review and comment on any planning applications due for review. Item 5.1, 24/00195, 27 Denby Road, K1 1DT. Any comments? The demolition? No? Okay, thank you. That's it. On item 6, planning application 38 Rydal Way, proposed erection of ground floor rear extension. Any comments? No comment to make, right? Thank you. Item 7. To review and note a financial management information report showing incoming expenditure against budget for the year. Pages 3 to 16. Item 7. Page 3. Any comment? 7. Then we go into the detailed comment. On the pages 4 to 16, are there any questions that any members got before I ask some questions? Anyone got anything? Okay. I've got a couple of questions. One question is on allotments, grant of 10,331.
Yes. Yes, Chair, I'll explain that to you. That was some Section 106 funding that the Environment and Premises Manager tapped into specifically for allotments, and we used it to redo the fencing around the Orchard allotments.
Okay, thank you.
If it hadn't been spent then, it would have expired.
Yeah, it would have expired.
And it did all come to committee.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then page 10. Professional fees, 85,000.
Yeah, I'm happy to say about this, Chair. This is, I know it's been discussed before, but this is Section 106 funding specifically for the arts project, the Bletchley, which was situated in the Brunel Centre. It's all to do with the Women's Football World Cup. So that has actually now been completed, and we've actually released the final amount.
Okay, thank you. And the last one I've got is on page 13. Cost code 4022, which is loan repayment of 34,000. Now clearly we have, because the Sycamore Hall hasn't started, there won't be any payments of that repayment fee. So Ken, have we decided what is going to happen to that?
Can I just say, Chair, I think we used that terminology because we didn't, I think it was just convenient, wasn't it,
Yes,
to use that terminology, say interest, but it was really to deal with the preliminary funding on the application. We will be spending some of that money on the work that you've already authorised on these surveys and so on. So it may well be spent by the time we get to the end of the year. If it isn't, we'll then, the committee can then consider assigning it elsewhere.
Well, that also, is that going towards the consultant fees?
That's right.
Part of it?
Yes,
That's all the...
Yes, all the different works that have been done.
Yeah.
So that's why there was that sum in the budget there, which I think we were going to rename.
We have renamed in the budget. It's called Buildings Project Funding.
Right.
Yeah.
More generalised term.
Right. Yes, because there's this whole series of consultants, QSs, the survey, and then there's the mechanical engineers and the heating engineers and so on. Ought to be brought in at early days.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've not, obviously, although we've commissioned that work, we've only had one invoice so far. I think that's right.
Well, we haven't actually had. I know the asbestos survey has been completed, so I'm fully expected to have the invoice that will be paid out of this year's.
So it all depends when that. I mean, I think we agreed some. The payments come at different. The payment comes at different times. So we're waiting to receive the invoices. So we're not clear yet how much of that will be spent in this current financial year.
Okay, and then it'll come back to this committee where we are
and what to do at the end of the financial year when we know how we finish the year.
Thank you. Any other questions anyone has on item 7? Right, okay. Item 8, to review and note cash and investment reconciliation to the 31st of January, pages 17 to 52. Right, there's a lot of it. Any questions anyone's got for that? Page 17 gives us the cash and investment reconciliation. 19 cash book. So I won't go through everyone. We've got the rest of it is the bank reconciliation of a cash book Unity Trust Fund current account. There's several pages of that. I went through those. I can't see anything that I don't know about or we don't know about. That takes us to page 26. We then get a list of the your account statements. That list, a whole list of items up to page 35. We then get various other statements, reconciliation statements, going through your account statements up to 43. Well, then we get the multi-play card on page 45. And petty cash on 49. And then on 52, I've lost one. No, there's nothing. Now, any questions on any of that finance? No? Right.
So it's noted.
Note. Item 9, to review and note the council's balance sheet as at the 31st. Anything there? Alice?
No, nothing to that, no.
Any questions on it? No? Okay, we're noted. Item 10. List of payments made or due to be made to the 29th of February. Nothing exceptional? Okay, and to note?
To ratify.
To ratify, beg your pardon.
No.
To ratify agreement?
Yep.
Yes. Again, to ratify, schedule of accounts to be paid by direct debit.
Can I just say something, Chair? These are obviously the direct debit accounts that are currently set up that have been previously ratified over the years. I would like to add another 2 direct debits to this schedule for the coming year. Those being direct debit for the BT broadband line that we use at Barton Road, which feeds the CCTV. And also we have the water supply to the allotments at Newton Lees through a water company called SES. So I'd like to set up those 2 direct debits if that can be ratified as well.
Can I have your agreement? Agreed. Thank you. That's to ratify that and agree the extras. Item 12, receive a report on the electric vehicle charging points here at Newton Lees, page 67 to 86. You can see there's an update on 12. And the report for update purposes only. Any questions on the update information?
Can I just add something here, Chair? I've been informed by the Will Allen that since then the company believe is actually not going for the pre-application process. They are going straight to planning application.
Okay.
Can I add to that, please, Chair? And they're intending to submit the planning application tomorrow. So if there's any concerns about what you could see in front of you, we need to hear about it tonight, definitely.
I've been through the plans and I was part of the original discussions with Believe and the Environment and Premises Manager. I am happy that it's something that we can continue to support and it's in line with what the committee previously agreed. And I think also you can see page 85, a draft letter to express support for the application. The reason that this is important is because we actually have to remove parking spaces in order to provide the EV charging points. I think there's going to be a loss of 2 or 3 spaces and it would take us below the minimum required for this building, but we believe that we're doing it for a good reason. So this is just to support the application. So I would propose that we note the report and also resolve to send a letter that has been drafted by the clerk.
Second.
Any comment? Those in agreement? Those against? Abstained? That's unanimous. Thank you. Item 13, Sycamore Hall update, verbal report. Who's doing that?
Would that be me?
I think so. Thanks, God.
Yes, I think what we were just planning to update on is that since the last full council meeting when the council agreed the consultation arrangements, we have proceeded with what was agreed at that time. There is a new edition of the Neighbour, a special edition, which is about the consultation, which will be delivered to residents at the end of this week. The consultation is already live. It's on our website and it's started. So there's a button on the front of our website which takes you straight to all the information that's also in the newsletter and to the survey which we're encouraging residents to complete to tell us their views. We've also been preparing today a short video to add to the website, which should be added tomorrow, we hope, which we hope will encourage residents to And we can circulate that via social media as well, in the hope that some people might find the video a bit more digestible, and footage of the building might bring it to life a bit more for residents. So the chair of the community committee and the chair of the council have participated in that. So that should be going out. And the consultation closes on the 24th of March, which is the day before the election's declared. So during the period between now and that date, we will be making every effort to encourage residents to participate in the consultation. I've previously written to residents associations and asked them if they'd like me to come to, or somebody from the council to come and talk about the project. We're happy to show people around the premises, that's on the website. We're happy to offer tours to show people the condition of the building and to explain what's planned at this stage. So we're doing everything we can to try and increase traction with the consultation, and it remains to be seen what residents make of it.
Okay. Any questions? No? Okay, thank you, David, for that. Item 14, sorry, to note. Item 14, to review and note the review affecting the internal audit, page 87 to 94.
Do you want me to like say a few words on this?
Yes, please.
Obviously, this is something that we do annually this time of year. We look at how effective our internal audit controls are in terms of the scope of the internal audit, audit planning, the characteristics of the effectiveness. What we do actually like members to have input into this, and every year we put on it that in terms of the scope of the internal audit, we would like members to tell us what they would like internal audit to look at.
Right.
We don't get any input, so.
And the thing, if I can just speak about it from a governance point of view, this document is not something that officers should be preparing. No. This is a document that councillors should be preparing. You're the ones who are reviewing your opinion of the effectiveness of your internal controls, and we need 3 councillors or 2 councillors at least to sign it off. And to be happy that the content is correct.
Right. Have we got 3 councillors?
It does actually, as per last year. This is for you to review, perhaps add your input, and then it's approved at full council.
Right. So we want 3.
Yes, it's 3 councillors.
3 volunteers. Richard?
What about the other councillors?
Off this committee first.
Yeah.
Then it goes to council for them.
All right then, yeah.
But just to be clear though, is it acting as internal auditor? So are we doing the work itself?
No.
Oh.
What you're saying with this document is that you are satisfied with the internal controls, and that includes the internal audit, but not just the internal audit, the internal controls that the council has put in place to safeguard the council's money and the way we do things in compliance with the requirements.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Oh, okay, that's 3.
I was going to suggest, I'm also happy to be a backup, but I do lots of other stuff, so I just want to give other councillors the opportunity. I was just going to say, I think it might be useful just maybe if people could spare half an hour with the finance manager for her to explain what's needed. And I think what I understand is we are in charge of the controls, and actually every councillor, not just this committee, has a responsibility for the finance of the council equally. And so what we're saying is we are happy that there are effective controls for money, taxpayers' money, to be used properly and is not subject to unnecessary risk. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
But I think as a new councillor, it might be that you just want to have a bit of time to for the finance manager to take you through, and then you can ask the kind of relevant questions.
Can I add something else, Chair?
Please.
Our financial regulations, this is not strictly tied in this, but our financial regulations do state that a member of the Finance and Governance Committee needs to sign off the bank statements. It is not being done.
I used to do it.
I know, but it is not currently being done. It's part of our financial regulations, and I really do need to implement that.
Can I come and do it?
You can do it.
I mean,
You need to be.
the reason you've got so many, if you don't mind me speaking, the reason you had that agenda item that you had with all those pages of financial statement, of bank statements, the reason you've got all those is because nobody's coming in to look at the original documents and to sign them off against the cash book and against the reconciliations. And because no one's coming in, we've got no alternative but to just put them all on the agenda. But it really, the thing is, it's much easier to come in, look at the original documents, to have Alison print off the cash book and demonstrate that where the figure in the cash book matches the reconciliation. And that is really what should be happening. And we were doing it really well before COVID.
Yes,
and I'm not saying it's not been done at all since COVID, but we haven't got a regular system, and it's something that we need to have. Okay. And that's something that perhaps should be picked up on this review of the effectiveness, and we should say that we know we need to do better on that.
Well, if no one else wants to do it, I'll do it.
I was going to ask, how often is it, every Friday or every 2 weeks?
Every month. It's not
just once a month.
Yeah, onerous, and it's not. I know it looks like big numbers, but it's not difficult. You look at your own bank statements. It's no difficult.
I used to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be the same person every time. It can be any member of this committee on a rota basis, which is really good. That would be a good.
Well, I think that would be healthy.
Do we need to know when they're ready to be done? That's what we need to know.
If you came in, any member of this committee could give me a call first week after the month end, they'll all be ready.
So the first week of the month.
Can I suggest that we actually have, like for all council meetings, a meeting in the diary at the right time, and we can then just have a rota of who pops in for that meeting. But like we say, like first Friday of the month at, I don't know, midday or 1 o'clock, and whoever's there is there, and between the councillors they can agree who's going to be there. And I would, obviously, I'm sure the chair of finance will keep us in the right line.
Well, I don't mind. I mean, that's one way of doing it, or is to say that one person does it and we have reserves. Because if I came that person, we'd need reserves. I think
it's good. It's really
good practice.
Strengthens the control to have lots of different people looking at it.
It's a very good idea. Well, I'll do it.
I'm happy to.
Yeah. Ethan, did you want to do it?
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Been doing it before.
Well, that's 4.
I don't mind doing it.
Yeah.
You're not. Well, that's excellent.
So that's 5. If one more person does it, that means you'd be doing it twice a year, which does not feel onerous.
No. Well, do you want to do it?
Yeah, but it'd have to be in the morning rather than.
Well, we can arrange it.
You can sort it whatever time suits you.
So just for the first time these are ready, shall I email the whole Finance and Governance Committee and I'll say the documents are ready to be signed off, and then you fight amongst yourselves to come in?
Oh dear.
Thank you very much.
Blood on the carpet. Right, that's excellent. Thank you very much for that, members. That's item 14. Item 15 was to note the increase in allowances. Are we a quality council?
Yes, we are.
We are.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Right, so we now have how much will be paid to those members that asked for the allowances to be paid to them.
If I can just speak to this, please, Chair. You don't have to adopt these allowances, but you have to have regard to what the local panel has set, and they have set a new figure compared with last year. So you just have to have regard to this, and then you have to decide what you want for the next year, starting on the 1st of April.
We have followed in the past, I understand, we follow these recommendations
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And I think we'd be ill-advised to move away from it. I think we should stick to it. Whether those of us that don't take it or those that do, doesn't really matter. So the principle would be the same. So do we agree that these are the allowances that will be paid to those councillors that request it? Those in favour? Yeah.
Sorry, Chair, I'm assuming that we are making a decision to go with the quality allowance rather than the non-quality allowance.
Yes.
Because we are a quality council.
Yeah, that's why I asked the original question even, yeah. Okay, item 16, to review the annual financial risk assessment. Pages 95 to 122.
Would you like me to speak to this?
Yeah.
Well, our annual risk assessment has been in the same form for a number of years, although it's been updated every year. But this year I decided to review it more thoroughly, and I've changed where different risks sit into a more logical order, and so you can't see the amendments, you can't see the difference between last year and this year because it's quite different. So I've changed it considerably. The column that I think is really important for you to look at is the furthest right, with further action needed, where I have identified with Alison areas where we think there's a risk to the council that we could do something to mitigate. But again, this is my assessment of where we are as a council, and it's really a matter for this committee to be considering risk. I think the big risk that council has that it hasn't had previously is the Sycamore Buildings project, which is actually a big financial risk. If the community aren't with us on what we want to do, we're going to have to think again. If we can't borrow or get grants, we're going to have to think again. And I think I've tried to include that in the risk assessment, but that's a risk that we didn't have previously. Yes, it's at F20 on page 26 of the risk assessment. I did get this on the website before the weekend and hope you might have time to read it, but I appreciate that it is a 28-page document. However, we have to sign this off before the end of the financial year. So if you don't want to sign it off tonight because you don't feel you've had enough time to think about it, it'll have to go to full council and be signed off direct by full council.
Well, I hope you've read it. Certainly the items listed in red are the significant points. I mean, one of the most significant ones, of course, now, brand new to us, is not only Sycamore Hall, but of course is the landscape risk assessment, where if the depot became unusable for whatever reason, or the equipment was damaged, then there's a risk on how we recover from those particular items. But there's other items as well. So it's just not a financial risk.
Yes.
It's the financial. It's the risk that we would have on our operations as a council.
Yeah.
I think, from my own point of view, is that the risk assessment that's been highlighted by the clerk are the right ones. And I think that the risks that have been listed are all the significant ones that we could possibly encounter, certainly for the next year. So I would suggest, I would recommend that we approve the risk assessment as presented. Do I have a seconder?
Yeah.
Eamon, thank you. Any comments?
With the risk assessment, some of the items say that this landscape and say, for instance, the building that it's in, and say, for instance, you know, a lightning bolt came down and it struck the roof and it blew the roof to bits. And, you know, what would our contingency, I mean, with this risk, what would our contingency be as a council, and where would we move the equipment?
That's
what we need to have.
That's it.
That plan B to all the risks regarding the risk assessments.
Yeah.
So, or plan C, because you never know. And then the financial implication of that plan B is what we need to discover.
Yes, in the landscape, particularly. That's
just one.
It's the ongoing operation that's got to continue.
Yeah.
So that's the risk assessment that's got to be addressed, the new one for us, as well as the other very significant one.
I mean, I think it just needs to be a plan B. It doesn't need to be major, but something that we can probably say, yes, we can relocate if we had to in an emergency, or we would go down a different path if we had to, and this is the cost implications of that.
That's what the risk assessment says. So I don't know where it is in.
I'm just looking for it.
Yeah, I can't.
Anyway, I second.
Right, thank you. Any comments now? Anyone else has got comments? No? All right, those in favour of accepting the risk assessment?
I've already seconded it.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, sorry, Brahim, yes, you have. Those in favour of accepting the risk assessment as presented? That's unanimous. Thank you.
And are you happy, does that mean that you're happy for us as an officer team to go and implement those items that we've highlighted in red?
Yes. 17, page 123. Yeah.
Wow.
Pages of this lot. Right, well, it surprised me just how much, what the stuff's worth, valued, insured for, £7.5 million. Yeah, just shut the life out of me. I thought, good grief. But it just shows you what some of this.
Do you want me to add something, Kevin?
Oh, yes, please.
Just especially for the new members, obviously the asset register is updated regularly. As soon as an asset is purchased, it goes straight on the asset register, it is tagged, and any disposals that are made aware of, they are disposed of and reported back to committee as well. So.
Right. Well, I mean, the significant ones, of course, again, Sycamore Hall been added, as this building is already in there. Well, the insurance value, of course, is substantial, which is the figure that really pushes these insurance values up. So to review, are we saying we have now reviewed it and we are satisfied that it represents the true asset register of the council?
If you'd like to come and inspect the assets at any time.
I think that's okay.
Can we count?
Just set aside a few days.
Can we count the paper clips, please? Yeah. Okay. Those to accept the review. Those in favour. Thank you. The last item 18, page 145, 146. To prove the write-off of the debts in the attached document. Alison.
Yeah, I think we just need to restrict this item, Chair.
Sorry?
Can we I've asked to restrict this item, please.
Right,
I think we can, we don't have to restrict if we don't mention the names.
Okay,
If we mention the names of the individuals that are in,
yeah,
then
Okay.
we'd have to go into a restricted session. So it depends on whether the councillors want to have a full discussion on the names that are in the paper.
you've got the names. Yeah, so we don't have to repeat them. Call them 1 and 2 if you like.
yeah. Yeah, so I'd just like to add that they are very minor amounts. There's obviously the reason why we do take damage deposits is obvious, so that negated one of them. But in terms of the amounts to write off, a lot of chasing has already been done, but it's got to the point where any more member of staff to spend any more time, and it's just not financially viable. So I feel it is in our interest to write these debts off.
So number 2, does that relate to a booking? And
It does.
And do we have, because it's surprising to see number 2 on this list, do we have any controls around, and do we have any controls about ensuring that bookings are booked in a way that actually they either provide a purchase order or whatever, so that we can be assured that we get paid going forward?
Yes, Chair, I'd just like to add, when we deal with companies, we do insist on a purchase order, and there was actually a purchase order with this booking, but despite many emails and trying to chase up this debt, it still has not been paid.
We can't deduct it from any money that's.
No, it's.
That's a shame, isn't it?
No.
Okay, well, there's the 2 amounts. Do we agree that for the rocks, Ethan?
I was going to say, Chair, this total value of the write-off is £107.84, and I can understand that it's not worth progressing. And one of the debts for number 2 is almost 2 years old.
Yeah.
So it's
and it continuously been trying to get this money.
Right, are we in agreement that we write off these 2 debts? Those in favour? It's unanimous. Thank you very much.
That included the other people on the other side of the hall, the chair and the vice chair and the clerk.
That's
I'm not happy with it.
£16? No, £880.
Right, thank you, ma'am.